I started this channel about 6.5 years ago, and one of the videos that really defined my channel, for better or for worse, I kind of regret making it, was one called The Plan to Eradicate the Clickbait. And it was a bit of a mean-spirited video, even though I had good intentions. But since then, I went on to produce videos where I take articles from websites like comicbook.com, CBR, and Screen Rant, and I pretty much debunk them to prove that these guys are in it for the wrong intentions. You know what I mean? And I was presented this article recently, a couple days ago, and I want to discuss it with you guys here on the Geekdom 101 channel. Okay. Um, it's just one of those things where people complain about clickbait on YouTube, and I understand why, but when it comes to these websites, like it's clear when you read any of these articles, well, not any, but the majority of them, that the people who write these are either not real fans or they're casuals. And there's nothing wrong with being a casual fan. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. If you don't know something, there's nothing wrong with not knowing. That's why we're here, to try to help people understand the series better. Derek Padula's books, I try to produce content that does that for people. There's other channels here that do that. And it's one of those things where you can just tell. And the thing that irritates me is that this is so obviously a cash grab. Look, I haven't lied about the fact that my YouTube channel is what I do for a living. Like, I do this for a living. But before I did this for a living, I also love Dragon Ball. I've got manga back there to prove it. I've got literally every kind of edition of the Dragon Ball manga that's available to me, both American and Japanese. And I wouldn't be collecting the manga, and I have figures in the other room that prove how much I love this franchise and how much I have loved it, whether it's good or bad, for years. I mean, years. And there's actually people who have said that I don't love Dragon Ball, which is like the strangest thing. I'm very blessed to be able to talk about Dragon Ball and get paid for it. Very blessed, and I'm very humbled by that. But the thing about these websites, these clickbait websites, is that when Super came into fruition 6 years ago or whatever, I had already started my channel with no idea Super was going to come back. Or Super was going to not come back, but start. I had no clue there was going to be a new series. I was covering Resurrection F and giving my thoughts on things, but I didn't know there was going to be a new Dragon Ball series. And then there was, and I was blessed enough to be able to ride that momentum wave and grow my audience, which is you guys. And all of a sudden, these articles started popping up about Dragon Ball, this and that. Now, I understand chasing that tidal wave of popularity. I understand Dragon Ball came back. People were back into the series. We had new fans. Like, I get all that. Let me adjust my shirt. I got the Ed, and Eddie shirt, by the way, from Toonami. If you like Ed, and Eddie, leave a like. Well, leave a like anyways down the video. It helps out the video quite a bit. And leave a comment, of course. Tell me about your favorite Ed, and Eddie memory. It's a good show. Fun show. Different from Dragon Ball. But anyways, back to my point before I get into this article. Like, I think I'm very passionate about Dragon Ball. Obviously, I love the old stuff more. Super had its moments, but nothing will ever compare to Z and Dragon Ball. And I wanted to, but with these guys, these articles, right? They get paid. These websites make a ton of money, more than YouTubers make, trust me. And you can just tell by reading this that these guys they don't care. They don't know the series. They go to Dragon Ball Wiki and get all their information from there and just compile an article together. And there's all kinds of websites and YouTube videos that actually show you how to make a proper article, with how to put the pictures there, there's certain techniques you can learn on how to become a blogger. And they exploit Dragon Ball. And some have accused me of doing that. But at least I'm an actual fan. At least I love this series. Whether or not you consider me covering this exploitation or just the fact that I'm lucky to cover it, I think it's bullshit, because if that's the case, then everybody on YouTube who covers anything is exploitive. If you're a video game fan, you have a video game channel, you're exploiting video games. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. We just like covering what we like, So 15 differences between the manga and the anime, right? There's tons of these in Dragon Ball. This is Dragon Ball Z, right? So it covers the Dragon Ball Z section. Now, This article is actually a copy of another article that CBR did. So these websites copy themselves, and it's comedy to me. So we go down this article, right? Let's go ahead and go down this article right here. You know, he talks about the anime might be the most popular medium in the West, but the manga was based on, you know, Dragon Ball is based on a manga. I'm pretty sure even the most casual Dragon Ball fan knows this was a book first. I'm pretty sure even the ones that only saw this on Toonami knew it was a manga first. Even if you're not a manga reader, most know, right? Even if they never read it, they know where it comes from. But that's fine, it's an intro. So we're scrolling down here, and the first thing I see, the very first entry, because remember, when it comes to these top 15, top 10 lists or whatever, they have to figure out a way to get to 15 or to 10, because if they don't, it won't make sense. Top 14, like they have to squeeze things in. So the first thing says the manga is black and white. And then what's funny is in the very first paragraph, he writes, this entry will seem obvious to manga aficionados, but can confound those who have never picked up a Japanese comic book before. I mean, is that really like. That's like saying the difference between the Harry Potter books and movie is that the books are all words and the movies are pictures. That's the same kind of comparison. It's two different mediums. Like, I'm surprised that wasn't number 15. Oh, the manga's a book, but the anime's a TV show. Like, it's just. And this guy right who wrote it, you know, Craig Levy or Craig Elvey. I'm sorry, no idea who he is. Obviously stuff is obvious, right? Gohan returns to fight Frieza. He's talking about Dragon Ball Z episode 100 when Gohan comes back to fight Frieza when Goku gets knocked down into the lava. Namek. Yes, that is only in the anime. Z fighters team up against Cell. Correct. In the manga, it was only Vegeta that helped Gohan against Cell when he blasted him, but in the anime, Piccolo, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, Krillin all help out. Gregory's not in the manga. So far, besides that number 15, everything is accurate, but these are also things that are pretty easy to figure out. And again, he jacked this from a different article. And I don't know if the other person did their research, but most of this is researched, so I'll give them credit, and maybe I'll do my own video. There's actually more differences than 15. There's actually a lot of really interesting differences between the anime and the manga. Very interesting ones. The Other World Tournament, that is a filler arc. Everybody who's read the manga knows this. If you haven't read the manga, you might not know. Okay, Snake Way. Now, Serpentine Road Snake Way is in the manga, okay? And basically he's talking about, you know, the trip down Snake Way was shorter, which is true. The entire Saiyan saga is shorter in the manga because there's a lot of filler in the middle. Gohan in the jungle, Gohan training, Gohan in the orphanage. A lot of that stuff was filler. Goku meeting Princess Snake, my favorite filler episode of all time. Goku and the ogres. All that stuff was just in the anime. So I guess he's talking about specifically that stuff, not just all of Snake Way. No, Garlic Jr. Yeah, Garlic is a movie and anime only character. Boo's World Tour. He's talking about how in the anime, Majin Buu showed up at the Kaio realm and was just being a prick to everybody there. And they actually kind of teased Buu versus Paikuhan, if you remember. We never actually saw the fight like really happen. Like that would have been a great, well, maybe not a great fight because Buu would have stomped him, but it would have been interesting. And then nudity. He talks about how the manga has nudity, which is true. He talks about how the anime had interesting moments, and he's talking about how the manga, you know, shows the whole blood with the nose thing, but in the anime they show Bulma's nipples. Now, that's only in the Japanese edition. If you have the Viz manga, and I would show you guys right now, I can go grab the Japanese manga right now, but if I do, I'm going to lose monetization on this video because it is nudity, and they're not going to let me do that. But if you have a copy of the Japanese version of the manga, you can see Bulma's nipples. Toriyama drew them right there. And also, but the anime also shows Goku's penis, which is also in the manga. In Japan, in those days, you were allowed to show the penis of a child, but not of an adult. That's weird to me. And I'm sure most of you guys are probably like, huh? I mean, hey, look, it's Japan, all right? They don't follow the same rules that we do. But it just depends on what we're talking about, you know? Number 6, gore. He's right about that. The manga is much gorier. Here we have an example of Dr. Jiro in the dub choking this man with blood coming out. Also, when Gohan kicks and stomps the Cell Juniors, there's blood and guts and, spines and all that bones. That's not in the anime. The anime is toned down. People say, oh, Z was uncensored. It really wasn't. Z was censored compared to the manga. Again, the manga in Japan has different, TV like limitations, especially now. Back then, less so, but now it's even more censored. Pace. Now, that one kind of seems dumb because it's obvious. Like, there's going to be pacing issues or pacing differences because one is a TV show, 22-minute episodes, not including commercial breaks and stuff like that. Manga is much faster. Back in the day, I believe it was like 3 chapters or 2 chapters equal 1 episode. Depends on like filler and whatnot if they're gonna make the fights longer. So yeah, it's obviously the pace is gonna be different because one, you're watching on TV. You can read through the entire Dragon Ball manga in just a couple days, a few hours a day. You can read through the entire thing. Well, if you spend a few hours, because it is long. But the anime will take you much longer to watch if you just watch it in regular speed. But that's obvious. Now, this one here is weird. He talks about how in the fight with Goku and Frieza, Goku seemed to be more dominant in the manga, but that's only because the manga is longer. I'm sorry, only because the anime is longer. The anime had to provide more fight to pad everything out because of the fact that the manga was quicker. And at the time, when they were adapting the Frieza saga to the anime, they were behind on schedule because the manga was catching up to the anime. I'm sorry, the anime was catching up to the manga, so they had to pad that fight out. That's why that fight is so long in the anime, because they had to add filler to the fight. Bulma and Captain Ginyu switching bodies is filler. Gohan returned to battle is filler. The fight itself is dragged out. All the scenes with Master Roshi and Chi-Chi on Earth, filler. The fight with the Ginyu Force on King Kai's planet, filler. Like, they literally added tons and tons and tons of padding to stretch that out. So yeah, it's going to be different. But the anime, though, and I've covered this, the anime still focused on the strategy that Goku had to beat Frieza, which was Goku attacking Frieza's midsection, which I covered in the Dragon Ball In-Depth #1 in 2015. How Goku defeated Frieza on Namek. Extra fingers, I've covered this before as well. Because of the Japanese, I don't know if it's respect or fear of the fact that, see, he talks about, it was easier for Toei to draw anime human hands than it was with less. That's bullshit. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The reason as to why Piccolo has 5 fingers in the anime and 4 in the manga is because the Yakuza cut off one of your fingers if you disobey them. I did a whole video on this on the channel called Piccolo's Fingers Explained, and go check it out. I'll probably leave it up here in the cards. And in that video, I go into that. There's a whole like fear of the Yakuza in Japan. That's why characters that have 4 fingers in the manga actually, or 4 digits, actually have 5 in the anime. He doesn't even know why. Trunks going Super Saiyan. Obviously, I mean, he shows a picture of Super, but in the anime, they actually show Trunks when he first transformed. In the manga version of the story of Trunks, it's different because he's already a Super Saiyan. But that's something you would know if you read it. Most people already know that one who have read both, or who have watched/read both. Now, #1 is quite annoying because it shows this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's over 8,000. He talks about how in the anime it was over 8,000. In the manga it was over 8,000. In the anime it was over 9,000. But unfortunately, the over 9,000 is from the original Ocean dub. It's in no other dub. Funimation brought it over to the orange bricks, but if you watch Kai, or if you play the video games, or if you watch it in Japanese, which is the right way to watch it, you'd know it was over 8,000 even in the anime. So like I've said before, the guys who write these articles, a lot of them don't even know, like, and again, there's nothing wrong with being a casual fan, but they don't even know, like, that you have to watch the series in Japanese. There are dub changes. They bring up the Planet Trade Organization, which isn't even in the dub. It's something that Dragon Ball Wiki invented. Like, there's all these things that you can tell by reading the articles. They just don't know. They just don't know how things actually work. They don't even know. Like it's just weird because, and he says here, the original Japanese anime retained the 8,000 line. Then why is it on the list? Why didn't you make this the difference in the anime and the manga, the dub? Because there's hundreds of dub changes. Why is that number one? Like, they just write whatever and they make these articles, they make these articles, and this guy's been writing for Screen Rant since 2016. They make these articles because they have to make them, so they're all structured the same. Bullet point, list, picture, or bullet point, picture, and then paragraph. Bullet point, picture. They're all the same. They're all the same. And it's all done that way purposely to increase engagement and things like that, to increase ad revenue. But again, these guys, while I don't hate them or anything like that, it just irritates me because it's obvious they're not really the guy might be a fan. I'm not saying he's not a fan, but some of these bullet point entries are just, come on. You know what I mean? Like, some of these are accurate. No question about it. So I don't think the guy's an idiot or anything like that. But number 15 and number 1 specifically are pretty dumb. You could have come up with 2 more differences, bro. There are a lot of differences in the anime and the manga. There's a lot of filler he didn't cover. He just kind of scraped the surface because the guy doesn't really know the intricacies of Dragon Ball. So, and that's fine, again, but it's just such cash grab, you know what I mean? Like, do a bit more research, just a little bit more. That's what I would say. Anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all very soon.